This is a PlayStation 2 controller that looks pretty much like a light gun, but it's not. You won't be able to play your House of the Dead or Time Crisis with something like this. It ain't much different than a DualShock 2 controller. And I wasn't wrong when I called it a controller instead of a pair of controllers. Kinda similar to a Nintendo Switch, this is a single DualShock 2 controller divided into two light gun looking controllers. And this right here is the box. The red and standard version. The one created for the regular Final Fantasy X-2. It's a nice box. I have no complaints about it. And it comes with this envelope that I don't really know if there was anything else inside besides this little card. It seems to have a sticker right here, but that's pretty much it. There is something written inside, but it's not really a letter that I can remove. What is it? Let me try. Oh wait, it was a little bit sticky, but there was a letter right there. And I don't really know what's that all about. Maybe it's something about the warranty, or maybe a newsletter. Who knows? Cool finding. And when it comes to the back side of the box, there's something that I haven't mentioned yet. The disgusting base. But Pablo, why is it disgusting? It's just a base. Nowadays it might not be disgusting. And I can pass my finger like this and have no problems. Because I scrubbed it. But back when I received this thing, it wasn't the case. Look at my finger. And actually, if I mess around with this too much, I will find some points that are still disgusting, and that is these white bubbles and everything, but it was worse. And these are the kind of things that you only notice if you look too closely. The bottom is pretty much hollow and was never disgusting as far as I know. It is not sticky or anything. And once you get tired of trying to play with this, you can add it to the stand and it will look pretty nice. Now let's take a closer look at this controller. We have a D-pad in one and the analog stick on the other one. But how am I supposed to play with this thing when I don't have two analog sticks? Well, the controller actually comes with this, a switch device that you can toggle between the right analog stick and the left analog stick. And also the classic analog button. And by the way, you didn't think that this controller would be wireless, did you? These are the cables. The plug for the PlayStation 2 and two plugs for you to connect on the bottom of the controller, which is something that can be done by removing this little cap and inserting it just like this. But even though the colors might be different, I never saw any difference. I just connect it to the first one that appears in and it will connect and everything works fine. There's also something missing here. That was just a decoration actually, and it's missing. I didn't even notice it when I bought it, but it's okay. I could 3D print it, but why bother? It's fine as it is. And it's not like I have a 3D printer, so that's how it goes. As for the buttons, we have a trigger here, an easy to press button, and two extra hard to press buttons right here and here. The inner button, when it comes to how you are holding your controller, might not be so hard to press, but the other one, well, it might be tricky. I usually press it like this, but how are you going to use the analog stick or the D-pad if you do it like this? Maybe you can do it like this, but it's tricky either way. And at the end of the day, what I end up doing is pressing it like this with the other hand. And at the bottom we have the start and select button that I usually forgot and think that it's something that you press to remove this thing or remove the plug, but it's not really the case. It's just the start button and the select button. It's not, press this to remove this, it's not the case. But how is the experience of playing the games with the tiny bees? When it comes to a game like Final Fantasy X, it works fine. I mean, the game is turn-based. There are sequences where you need to press the right button at the right time, and you will probably get lost at some point because you don't know if this is the R1 or if this is the L1 or... That's the problem. But it's not a big deal at the end of the day. You will get used to it. But I will tell you this. I used an adapter to use these controllers on the PC. And by doing that, I was able to use these controllers any way I wanted. So I made it so that I could play King Kong moving with the D-pad and aiming with the analog stick, aiming with the left trigger and shooting with the right trigger. And boy oh boy, it is not comfortable to play with this. I surely am getting older, but with time it hurts the joint. So even if you make an FPS playable with this, the Classic still is a better option. As for other games, unless the game allows you to change the buttons to whatever you want, you will have a bad time playing with these. It won't make sense. And at the end of the day, the games you can use to play with these are the same games that could be playable with a very limited controller like this one, which has an analog stick, a positive button, and a negative button. If the game looks playable with something like this, you can play it with something like this. And the best that a collectible like this can do at the end of the day is being a decoration. A very nice one, to say the least. But as a side note, this right here might be my most exquisite controller, but it's not the only one. So if you can, join me, ring the bell, and be part of the crew. But just so you know,